Jin sat in his tiny apartment as rain hit the window. The roof leaked in the corner, and a pot caught the drops with soft pings. He looked at his bank account on his old computer screen. Only 5,001 left. Not enough for rent. Not enough for food for the week. 3 engineering degrees, and no one will hire me, he said to the empty room. His stomach growled. He had not eaten since yesterday morning. Jin had tried everything. He had sent his resume to hundreds of companies. He had gone to job fairs. He had asked old friends for help. Nothing worked. At 32 years old, he felt like a failure. He clicked through job sites one more time. Nothing new. No responses to his applications. Jin rubbed his tired eyes and was about to shut down his computer when the screen flickered. The screen went black. Then purple text appeared. Greetings, Jen Kim. I am the cosmic Dorokayer. I can OFFE or you 8 on to your PROBLEMs. Jin laughed. Great. Now my computer has a virus. He tried to close the message, but it wouldn't go away. Instead, more text appeared. Your side to UATION, HASBEN noted. You possess what we need. We possess what you need. A tree is possible. Jin's fingers hovered over the keyboard. This had to be some kind of scam, but curiosity made him type. What trade? The response came quickly. Your soul for we elf beyond imagination and companionship beyond your wildest dreams. Jin laughed again, louder this time. My soul? Sure, take it. I'm not using it anyway. QM information required. Do you ACCPT the terms of DHS EXCJNG? Jin shook his head. What a strange virus. He decided to play along. Yes, I accept. Take my soul. Give me billions and a supermodel wife while you're at it. Make it 2 wives. Why not? The screen flashed bright white. Jin covered his eyes. When he looked again, a formal contract had appeared on the screen. It was written in a language he had never seen before, with symbols that seemed to move and change as he looked at them. At the bottom was a simple button that said HCCPT in English. Whatever, Jin said. His finger moved to click the button. A small voice in his head told him to stop. But what did he have to lose? His life was already at rock bottom. He clicked HCCEP. The computer shut down instantly. The room went dark except for the city lights outside the window. Stupid virus, Jin muttered as he got up and went to his thin mattress on the floor. He fell asleep quickly, too tired and hungry to think about the strange message. Morning came. Sunlight hit Jin's face, waking him up. Something felt wrong. The mattress was too soft. The room was too quiet. No dripping water. No traffic noise from the street. Jin opened his eyes and sat up quickly. He was not in his apartment. He was in a massive bedroom with floor-to-ceiling windows showing a view of Seoul he had only seen in magazines. The bed was king-sized with silk sheets. The furniture looked expensive. Jin jumped out of bed. His heart beat fast. What is happening? He said out loud. He ran to the window. He was in a penthouse, maybe 40 floors up. He could see Namsan Tower in the distance. On a desk by the window sat a new computer. It turned on by itself as Jin approached. On the screen was a simple message. Contract HCCPT'd. Payment DLIV-ORID. Companions will ARIVANFORT in days. Enjoy your new life. JDN Kim. Next to the computer was a black credit card with Jin's name on it and a bank statement. Jin picked up the paper with shaking hands. His eyes widened. 10 billion won. Jin sat down heavily in the desk chair. It was real, he whispered. What have I done? 2 weeks passed quickly. Jin got used to his new life of wealth. He bought new clothes. He ate at the best restaurants. He drove a sports car. People who had ignored him before now wanted to be his friend. Jin told everyone that he had made money in digital currencies. No one asked questions. But Jin could not forget the last part of the message. QOMPANIONS Royal ARRIVAFOURT in days. On the morning of the 14th day, Jin paced around his penthouse. He checked his watch every few minutes. What kind of companions? What had he agreed to? At noon, the doorbell rang. Jin's heart beat fast as he opened the door. A delivery man stood there with a small package. "Package for Mr. Kim," the man said. Jin signed for the box and closed the door. The small box was lighter than he expected. There was no return address. He placed it on his coffee table and stared at it. After 10 minutes, he finally opened it. Inside were 2 crystals. One was blue like the deepest ocean. The other was pink like the sunset. They were the size of golf balls and seemed to glow from within. "This is it." Jin picked up the blue crystal. It felt warm in his hand. He placed the crystals on his table and waited all day. Nothing happened. Night came, and Jin went to bed disappointed and confused. At midnight, Jin woke to a bright light filling his bedroom. He sat up and saw the 2 crystals floating in the air at the foot of his bed. They spun faster and faster, their light growing so bright that Jin had to cover his eyes. When the light faded, Jin looked up and gasped. Where the crystals had been, 2 women now stood, but they were not human women. They were both tall, with perfect features. Their skin glowed slightly in the darkroom. One had blue hair that moved like water even when she stood still. The other had pink hair that looked like it was made of soft light. Their eyes had no whites, just glowing colors. Blue for one, pink for the other. Their ears came to elegant points, and they wore simple white clothes that seemed to flow around them. They were the most beautiful beings Jin had ever seen. "Hello, Jin Kim," said the one with blue hair. Her voice was like music. "I am Nara." "And I am Duri," said the one with pink hair. Her voice was softer, like a gentle wind. Jin could not speak. He backed up against his headboard. "Do not be afraid," Nara said. "We are your companions, as promised in your contract." You're not human," Jin finally managed to say. Duri laughed, a sound like small bells. "No, we are luminary, from the Andromeda galaxy. We are your wives now, as specified in your agreement with the cosmic broker." "Wives?" Jin's voice cracked. The message said companions. I didn't think it meant actual. "And your aliens." "We are the most advanced beings in the known universe," Nara said. "Our people are known for their beauty, intelligence, and power." Jin got out of bed slowly. He was still in his pajamas. He felt small next to these tall, glowing beings. "Why would beings like you agree to be my wives?" Jin asked. "The reasons are complex," Duri said, "but know that we are here willingly." Nara stepped forward, and Jin stepped back. "Your soul energy is very valuable to the cosmic broker," she said. "In exchange, you received wealth and us. It is a fair trade." Jin's legs felt weak. He sat on the edge of the bed. "This can't be real." "It is very real, Jin Kim," Duri said, sitting beside him. Her skin glowed brighter when she was closer. "And this is only the beginning." Nara looked around the room. "We have much to teach you about the universe, and you have much to teach us about Earth." Jin looked from one alien to the other. His life had changed forever. 1 month after Nara and Duri arrived, Jin's life had changed in ways he never imagined. His penthouse now had strange devices that he did not understand. Lights that floated in the air, a kitchen that cooked food by itself, windows that could show any view from any planet. "Today we will learn about human food," Jin said one morning. He had decided to teach his alien wives about Earth, just as they taught him about space. Jin took them to a market. People stared at Nara and Duri. Jin had asked them to hide their glowing skin and pointed ears, but they still looked too perfect to be human. Their hair still moved like water and light. "These are called strawberries," Jin said, holding up the red fruit. Duri took one and bit into it. Her pink eyes widened. "It contains so much feeling," she said. Jin did not understand what she meant. Feeling. "Your earth foods have emotions in them," Nara explained. "Our food is perfect in nutrition, but has no feeling." Jin watched as the two aliens tried more foods. They were like children, excited by each new taste. Later that day, Nara showed Jin a map of the universe on one of their strange devices. Stars and planets appeared as floating lights in his living room. "This is Earth," she said, pointing to a small blue dot. "And this is our home." She pointed to a spot very far away. "Why did you really come here?" Jin asked. "Why would beings like you agree to be with someone like me?" Nara and Duri looked at each other. "Most luminary think humans are simple creatures," Duri said. "But we find you fascinating." "Humans feel so deeply," Nara added. "You love and hate, and hope and fear. We luminary lost those strong feelings long ago." Jin did not know what to say. He had thought he was getting the better deal with his wealth and beautiful alien wives. Now he wasn't sure. That night, Jin could not sleep. He went to the kitchen for water and found Duri looking out the window at the stars. "Do you miss your home?" Jin asked. "Sometimes," Duri said, "but I was not happy there." "Why not?" Duri was quiet for a moment. "I was to marry a high leader. It was arranged since my birth. But I did not want that life." Jin began to understand. "So coming here was an escape for you." Duri nodded. "And for Nara too, in a different way. She wanted to study humans up close." Jin thought about his own life. 1 month ago, he had nothing. Now he had everything. But he had given away his soul. Did he regret it? He wasn't sure. The next day, Nara took Jin to the roof of his building. She carried a small box. "Today we teach you about the stars," she said. She opened the box and took out a small ring. "Put this on," she told Jin. Jin slipped the ring on his finger. Suddenly, he could see the stars even though it was daytime. Not just see them, he could feel them, as if he was moving among them. "This is amazing," Jin whispered. "Your planet is under protection," Nara said. "Most humans do not know that other life exists." "Protected from what?" Jin asked. "From those who would use humans for their special energy," Duri said, joining them. "The energy you traded away." Jin looked at his alien wives. "Am I the only human who has done this?" Nara nodded. "You are the first to willingly trade your soul. That makes you very special, Jin." Jin looked up at the stars he could now see. His world was getting bigger every day. And somewhere out there was his soul. 2 months had passed since Jin made the deal. One night, he sat with Nara on the balcony of his penthouse. The city lights of Seoul spread out below them like stars. "I need to ask you something," Jin said. "What exactly happened to my soul?" Nara's blue eyes glowed brighter in the darkness. "Your idea of a soul is different from what was actually taken from you." "What do you mean?" "Humans have a special energy inside them," Nara explained. "We call it spirits. No other beings in the universe have it. This energy powers most of the advanced technology in the galaxy." Jin thought about this. "So the cosmic broker didn't take my actual soul, just this energy." "The energy is part of what humans think of as a soul," Nara said. "It is what makes humans special. It gives you your creativity, your strong emotions, your ability to love and hate with such power." Jin looked down at his hands. He didn't feel different. "Do I still have a soul?" "You have part of it," Nara said. "But the strongest part of your spiritus energy now powers a starship or a city somewhere in the universe." Jin felt cold despite the warm night. "Why didn't you tell me this before?" "You were not ready." Jin stood up and walked to the edge of the balcony. "Why is Earth protected?" You said other beings would use humans for this energy. Nera joined him. Long ago, many aliens came to Earth to harvest spiritus. They took humans and drained them. A council of advanced civilizations decided this was wrong and placed Earth under protection. No alien can come to Earth without permission. But you're here, Jin said. Because you invited us through your contract, Nara explained. That is the only legal way. Jin thought about all the sci-fi movies he had watched. Are there other aliens on Earth? A few, Nara admitted. Some break the rules. Some look so human they can hide easily. Jin had more questions, but a bright light from inside the apartment caught their attention. They rushed inside to find Duri standing next to a glowing sphere floating in the air. It's a message, Duri said, her voice shaking. From home. The sphere expanded, and an image appeared inside it. It showed a being that looked like Duri and Nera, but male and much older. He wore complex, glowing clothes and had a stern face. Daughter, the being said, looking at Duri, your little adventure is over. Return home immediately for your wedding ceremony. Duri stepped back. My father, she whispered to Jin, the Grand Luminary. The message continued. We have tracked you to the primitive planet Earth. If you do not return within 3 Earth days, I will send hunters to bring you back. The human you are with will be terminated for interfering in luminary affairs. The sphere disappeared. Duri's pink glow had dimmed with fear. He can't come here, right? Jin asked. Earth is protected. The Grand Luminary sits on the council that created the protection, Nera said. He can override it. Jin felt afraid, but also angry. No one is taking Duri if she doesn't want to go, and no one is terminating me. Duri looked at Jin with surprise. You would stand against the Grand Luminary for me? Of course, Jin said without hesitation. You're my wife now, aren't you? Something strange happened then. Jin felt a warmth in his chest, spreading through his body. His hands began to glow slightly with a golden light. Nera gasped. Impossible. Your spiritus energy. It's regenerating. Jin looked at his glowing hands. Is that good? It's unheard of, Nera said. Once spiritus is taken, it never comes back. Never. Jin didn't understand what this meant, but he knew one thing. He would protect his alien wives, no matter what. Jin, Nara, and Duri spent the next day preparing for trouble. They didn't know how the Grand Luminary's hunters would come, but they knew they would. We need to leave Earth, Duri said as she moved around the apartment, touching the strange devices they had brought with them. Leave Earth? Jin asked. To go where? I have a ship, Nara said quietly. Jin and Duri both looked at her with surprise. You have a spaceship. Where? Jin asked. Hidden in the mountains outside the city, Nara admitted. I always have an escape plan. Duri stepped closer to Nara. Why would you need an escape plan? You said you came to study humans. Nara looked down. That's not the whole truth. Jin felt a chill. What is the whole truth? Before Nara could answer, all the lights in the apartment went out. The entire city outside went dark too. They're here, Nara whispered. A bright light shot through the windows, breaking the glass. 4 tall beings appeared in the living room. They looked like Nara and Duri, but wore black armor that seemed to absorb light rather than give it off. Each carried a staff that glowed with power. Princess Duri, one of them said, by order of the Grand Luminary, you will return with us now. Jin stepped in front of Duri. She's not going anywhere she doesn't want to go. The lead hunter looked at Jin like he was a bug. This is the human. Terminate it. One of the hunters pointed his staff at Jin. A beam of energy shot out. Jin didn't think. He just moved his hand up as if to block the beam. To everyone's surprise, the energy stopped in front of Jin's palm. His hand glowed golden, brighter than before. Impossible, the hunter said. Jin pushed his hand forward, and the energy beam shot back at the hunter, knocking him down. The other hunters attacked all at once. Jin felt the golden energy flow through his whole body now. He moved faster than he ever had before. He dodged one beam and caught another with his bare hand. Nera jumped into action, pulling out a small device that expanded into a weapon. She fired it at one of the hunters, freezing him in place. Duri raised her hands, and pink energy flowed from them, creating a shield around herself and Jin. "We need to go now," Nera shouted. Jin grabbed a bag they had packed earlier while Nera and Duri held off the hunters. They ran to the elevator, but it wasn't working with the power out. "The stairs," Jin said, leading them to the emergency exit. As they ran down the stairs, Jin asked Nera, "Are you going to tell me what you're really doing here?" Nera looked ashamed. "I am an agent of the Cosmic Council. I was sent to evaluate you." "Evaluate me? Why?" "Because your contract was unique. No human has ever willingly traded their spiritus before. The Council wanted to know if this meant humans were ready to join the galactic community." They reached the bottom of the stairs and ran out into the dark street. Duri looked hurt. "You lied to both of us," she said to Nera. "Not about everything," Nera replied. "I do find humans fascinating, and I do care about Jin." More hunters appeared at the end of the street. "We can talk about this later," Jin said. "How do we get to your ship?" Nera pointed to a small black vehicle parked nearby. It looked like a normal car, but had no wheels. "That will take us there," she said. As they ran to the vehicle, Jin realized that his life had changed again. He was about to leave Earth. He looked back at the city he had known all his life. "I'll come back," he promised quietly. Then he got into the strange vehicle with his 2 alien wives, ready to face whatever came next. The ship rose above Earth's atmosphere. Jin looked out the window at his home planet growing smaller. The blue and green world looked so peaceful from space. "It's beautiful," he whispered. Nera worked the ship's controls. Her fingers moved over panels of light. "We need to jump to light speed before the hunters can follow us." Jin had many questions. "Where are we going?" "To the free worlds," Duri said. "Places not under my father's control." The stars outside suddenly stretched into lines, and Jin felt a push as the ship jumped to speeds he could not imagine. His first trip to space, and he was already moving faster than light. "The journey will take 3 Earth days," Nera said. "I will teach you about space travel." Duri touched Jin's arm. "And I will teach you to fight. You have power now, but you don't know how to use it." For 3 days, Jin learned from his alien wives. Nera showed him star maps and explained the politics of different planets. The universe was divided between many powerful races, with humans kept ignorant of it all. "Humans are feared," Nera told him. "Your spiritus energy makes you special." Duri taught Jin to focus his new golden energy. In a training room on the ship, she showed him how to create shields and energy blasts. "Your power grows each day," she said with wonder. "It's like your energy is feeding on itself, getting stronger." On the 3rd day, they arrived at a space station. It was like a small metal moon, floating between worlds. Ships of all kinds docked there. "Stay close to us," Nera warned. "And wear this." She gave Jin a cloak with a hood to hide his human features. Inside the station, Jin saw aliens of every shape and color. Some had many arms. Some were made of light or shadow. Some looked almost human, except for their eyes or skin. They entered a busy area like a market. Aliens traded strange goods. Jin noticed some were trading small vials of golden energy. "Is that?" Jin began. "Spiritus," Nara whispered. "Smuggled from Earth. It's very valuable." As they walked, Jin heard whispers around them. Some aliens moved away from their path. "They can sense your energy," Duri explained. "They know you're human." They reached a small shop. Inside was an alien that looked like a tall blue octopus with wise eyes. Its name was Zik, a friend of Nera's who had information for them. "The Grand Luminary has put a price on all your heads," Zik said. especially the humans. Word has spread about a human with regenerating spiritus. Many want to capture you to study how it's possible. Jin felt afraid. What do we do now? There is a sanctuary planet called Terrace, Zik said. But to get there, you must go through Sector 12. Nara and Duri both looked worried. What's in Sector 12? Jin asked. The Galactic Combat Tournament, Nara said. The only way to get permission to enter Terrace is to win or place highly in the tournament. A fighting tournament? Jin asked. The most famous one in the galaxy, Duri said. Warriors from all worlds compete. Jin thought about the powers he was developing. Then I'll enter it. Jin, no, Nara said. The fighters are the strongest beings in the universe. Many have trained for hundreds of years. Do we have another choice? Jin asked. Zik shook his head. The Grand Luminary's forces control all other routes to Terrace. Jin looked at his hands, now glowing faintly with golden energy. He thought about Earth, about the life he had left behind. He had traded his soul for wealth and companions. Now he would fight for all three of them. I'll do it, he said. I'll enter the tournament. Duri held his hand. We will train you as much as we can before we arrive. Jin nodded. He had been an engineer on Earth. Now he was about to become a warrior among the stars. The planet Koros was home to the Galactic Combat Tournament. It had 10 moons and rings like Saturn. The tournament arena sat on the largest moon, a huge building that could hold 1 million spectators. Jin stood in a waiting room with fighters from across the universe. Some were 3 times his size. Some had weapons that looked like they could cut through steel. All looked dangerous. Remember what we taught you, Duri whispered. She and Nara would watch from the stands. Focus on your speed, Nara added. Humans are more agile than most aliens expect. A loud sound rang out. The tournament was beginning. Jin walked into the arena with the other fighters. The crowd roared. Most had never seen a human before. The announcer's voice boomed. For the first time in tournament history, we have a human competitor. The crowd made noises of surprise and excitement. Jin looked up at the thousands of aliens watching. He felt very small. The rules were simple. Win 5 fights to advance to the finals. Use any means except killing. Jin's first opponent was a rock-like being from a heavy gravity world. The human will be crushed, the announcer said as they entered the fighting area. The rock being charged at Jin. It was fast for its size. Jin remembered Duri's training and focused his energy. He dodged at the last second, moving faster than he ever had on Earth. The rock being stumbled past him. Jin sent a blast of golden energy into its back. The being fell forward but got up quickly. The human has spiritus power. The announcer shouted. The crowd went wild. The rock being attacked again. This time, Jin created a shield of energy. When the being hit the shield, Jin pushed back with all his strength. The rock being flew across the arena and hit the wall. Winner, Jin of Earth, the announcer called. Jin won his next 3 fights the same way. He was faster than his opponents expected. His spiritus energy grew stronger with each fight. The crowd began to cheer for him. Before his 5th fight, a tournament official came to Jin's waiting room. Many are betting on you now, human, the official said. But your next opponent is Krell, champion of the Luminary Royal Guard. Jin felt his heart sink. The Royal Guard? You mean? Yes, he was sent by the Grand Luminary himself. When Jin entered the arena for his 5th fight, the crowd was louder than ever. Across from him stood Krell, a luminary male with silver hair and cold eyes. He wore the black armor of the Royal Guard. Human, Krell said, his voice carrying across the arena. The Grand Luminary sends his regards. After I defeat you, Princess Duri will return home. Jin remembered why he was fighting. Not just for himself, but for Duri's freedom and for Nara, who had risked everything to help them. Tell the Grand Luminary that Duri makes her own choices now, Jin replied. Krell attacked with incredible speed. Jin barely got his shield up in time. The impact sent him sliding backward. Krall was stronger than any opponent Jin had faced. The fight was brutal. Jin was knocked down many times. His body ached. But each time he got up, his golden energy glowed brighter. "Why won't you stay down, human?" Krall growled after Jin rose yet again. "Because on Earth," Jin said, gathering his energy for one final attack, "we never give up." Jin released all his power at once. Golden light filled the arena. When it faded, Krall lay on the ground, his armor cracked. "Impossible," Krall whispered as the referee declared Jin the winner. The crowd went silent, then erupted in the loudest cheer yet. A human had defeated a luminary royal guard. In the stands, Duri hugged Nera with joy. But Nera looked worried. "This changes everything," she said. "The Grand Luminary will not let this stand." Jin looked up at them from the arena floor and smiled. He had won, but he knew this was just the beginning of their fight. Jin stood in the final round of the tournament. He had made it further than anyone expected. His last opponent was a warrior from a warlike race with 4 arms. The crowd chanted Jin's name. As Jin prepared to fight, a bright light filled the arena. The fighting stopped. A massive ship appeared in the sky above the open-roof arena. "The Grand Luminary," Duri whispered from the stands. Her face was pale with fear. A beam of light shot down from the ship to the center of the arena. When it faded, a tall luminary male stood there. He wore robes that seemed to be made of stars. His hair was silver and gold, and his eyes held the light of galaxies. A crown of energy floated above his head. The entire arena went silent. Everyone bowed, even the tournament officials. Only Jin remained standing. "I am the Grand Luminary," the being said, his voice echoing without the need for speakers. "I have come for my daughter and to deal with this human." Jin saw Nara and Duri hurrying down from the stands. He walked toward the Grand Luminary without fear. "Duri doesn't want to go with you," Jin said. "She has the right to choose her own life." The Grand Luminary looked at Jin with cold eyes. "You know nothing, human. This is far bigger than a runaway princess. You have upset the balance of the universe." Duri and Nara reached Jin's side. Duri stepped forward. "Father, I won't return. I won't marry someone I don't love." Silence. The Grand Luminary's voice shook the arena. "You have broken our laws, daughter. And you." He pointed at Nara. "Have betrayed the Council's trust." Nara stood tall. "No, I have fulfilled my mission. I was sent to study the human and report on his worthiness." "And you found him worthy?" The Grand Luminary laughed. "This primitive creature?" "Yes," Nara said firmly. "Jin has shown courage, loyalty, and strength that many luminary have forgotten." The Grand Luminary's eyes narrowed. "The human has illegal spiritus energy. He must be terminated." Jin felt anger rising inside him. His golden energy glowed brighter. "No one is terminating anyone," Jin said. "Humans may be new to your galaxy, but we deserve respect." Respect. The Grand Luminary raised his hand, and energy gathered around it. "You are nothing but a resource to be harvested." He fired a blast of pure white energy at Jin. Jin raised his hands to block it, his golden shield appearing. The blast hit with incredible force, pushing Jin back. But his shield held. The crowd gasped. No one had ever withstood the Grand Luminary's power. "Impossible," the Grand Luminary whispered. Jin pushed back against the energy. "You think humans are weak because we're young. But that's our strength. We learn, we adapt, we grow." Jin's golden energy spread outward, pushing the Grand Luminary's attack back. The effort made Jin's whole body shake. "You cannot win, human," the Grand Luminary said, increasing his power. Jin was about to collapse when Duri stepped beside him. She placed her hand on his shoulder, and her pink energy joined his gold. Then Nera joined them, adding her blue energy. "What is this?" the Grand Luminary demanded. "It's something you've forgotten. Father, Dury said. Connection. Humans call it love. The combined energy of the three pushed back against the Grand Luminary's attack. The white beam was driven back until it disappeared entirely. The Grand Luminary lowered his hand, his eyes wide with shock. This changes nothing, he said, but his voice lacked conviction. The Council will decide your fate. A new voice spoke from behind them. The Council is already here. Everyone turned to see a being made of shifting light and shadow. It was the Cosmic Broker. And the final test, the Broker said, is about to begin. The Cosmic Broker moved toward Jin, Nara, and Dury. The being seemed to shift between shapes with each step. Sometimes it looked like a tall human, sometimes like a luminary, sometimes like something Jin had no words for. What is the meaning of this? The Grand Luminary demanded. The Council did not authorize this test. The Council authorized it long ago, the Broker said. We have waited centuries for the right human. Jin looked at the strange being. The right human for what? For the true contract, the Broker replied. The contract was never about your soul, Jin Kim. It was about proving what humans are capable of. The arena was completely silent. Every alien watched and listened. I don't understand, Jin said. The Broker turned to face the crowd. For too long, the advanced races of the universe have feared humans. They have kept Earth isolated. They have taken human spiritus energy without permission. They believed humans were dangerous and primitive. The Broker pointed at Jin. This human proved them wrong. He showed compassion when he protected Princess Dury. He showed bravery when he faced the hunters. He showed strength when he fought in this tournament. And most importantly, he showed love, the one power greater than any technology in the universe. Jin looked at Nara and Dury. They seemed as surprised as he was. Was everything planned? Jin asked. Not planned, the Broker said. Observed. You made every choice freely. That was the test. The Grand Luminary stepped forward, his face angry. You risked my daughter for this experiment. Your daughter volunteered, the Broker replied. As did Nara. They believed in the potential of humans. Jin turned to his wives with surprise. You knew. Dury took his hand. We knew parts of it. I knew I would meet you, but not what would happen after. Everything that grew between us was real. Nara nodded. The Council wanted to know if humans were ready to join the galactic community. They needed proof that humans could be trusted with the knowledge of the wider universe. The Broker raised his hands. The air around Jin began to glow. Jin felt a strange pulling sensation in his chest. Then, a ball of golden light emerged from the Broker's hand and floated toward Jin. Your spiritus energy, the Broker said, returned and enhanced, as the contract promised. The golden ball entered Jin's chest. Jin felt warmth spread through his body. His mind expanded. He could suddenly understand things that had seemed confusing before. The contract is fulfilled, the Broker announced. Humanity has proven worthy of joining the galactic community. The Grand Luminary looked stunned. This cannot be the Council's decision. It is, the Broker said firmly. Earth will be welcomed into the galactic community. Jin Kim will be its first ambassador. And your daughter, Grand Luminary, is free to choose her own path. The aliens in the arena began to cheer. Many had never seen a human before Jin, but his actions had changed their minds about Earth. Jin looked at Nara and Dury, the alien wives he had gained through a contract he didn't understand. Now he realized they were truly his by choice. What happens now? Jin asked them. We return to Earth, Nara said, to prepare your people for a new age. Will they be ready? Jin wondered. Dury squeezed his hand. If they are anything like you, they will adapt. Jin thought about his journey. He had traded his soul for wealth and 2 alien wives. But he had gained so much more. He had gained a purpose and a future for all of humanity. Let's go home, Jin said, and together they'd walk toward a new beginning.